It's 10 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, 10 p.m. in London, 5 p.m. in New York, and 5 a.m. in Beijing. This is TVC News at 10. I am Ikechukwu Obienu. The headlines. Federal government deploys security personnel to establish a new military base in Kirawa, a border town in Goza local government area of Borno State. Department of State Services apologizes, releases 2 journalists wrongfully arrested in Plateau State. U.S. President Donald Trump expresses confidence that hostages held in Gaza would be freed very soon as peace talks begin in Egypt. In our Sunday special, we take a look at Igbomoku community in Ogun State, where police, the military cannot enter with their uniform. Thanks for staying with us again. Now we'll begin with, of course, the situation in Borno State, where the federal government has begun deploying security personnel to establish a new military base in Kirawa, a border town in Goza local government area of the state. TVC News senior reporter Jesse Tafida reports that the move follows a recent terrorist attack that displaced several families and overran a multinational task force base in the area.
It's a long, rough road to Kirawa, a community sitting right on Nigeria's border with Cameroon, and one that has endured years of insurgent attacks. The latest assault forced dozens of families to flee their homes, while militants briefly took over the multinational Joint Task Force base stationed there. Now, hope is beginning to return as Governor Babagina Zulum, accompanied by members of his cabinet and Goza community leaders, are here in Kirawa, not just to assess the damage, but to restore confidence among the people.
Within the shortest possible period, the Nigerian Army will deploy soldiers to Kirawa town. This is one measure. The second measure that we have undertaken is in the areas of providing support to our gallant civilian gentry of hunters and vigilantes. We have listened to them and we have provided all the requirements needed to safeguard the town.
Kirawa was among the communities resettled by the Borno State government in 2022, but repeated attacks have tested the resilience of residents. Locals and community leaders are now calling for a stronger permanent military presence to keep the town secure.
He have already said that they will bring military to this place. He also says that they are going to even at least consider our road, a hospital, and palliative to our people.
So as a member representing Goza, there's nothing I can say more than to tell His Excellency Jazakallah Bilhai, and inshallah we'll continue to pray for him, for his support and empathy to our community.
As the governor moves through the community, inspecting destroyed homes and deserted schools, he makes another call. For a community caught between war and recovery, the governor's visit is more than symbolic. It's a sign that Kirawa's story of survival is not far from over. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Goza.
Well, TVC senior reporter Jesse Tafida joins me live now on the news to put this in bird's eye view. Jesse, the federal government has now responded to Governor Zulum's call for, of course, the deployment of, military personnel to those border communities and all of that. What exactly do you think makes the difference this time that will make Nigerians believe that, yes, indeed, they will not be overrun this time by the insurgents?
Now, Ike, it's good to note that this is not the first time the governor is making such call to the federal government and the military operatives to always, intensify their operations in border communities. Now, one peculiar issue with the border communities is that it's not only Nigerian military that works there. Like for Kirawa now, it was the Cameroonian military that was there, and they withdrew their services just not too long ago, and then this attack is happening. When they withdrew it, Governor Zulum now said the federal government should support the people there because the people are just being resettled back to their communities after they've been displaced for years by the insurgency. Now, the thing is, it's a multinational joint task force. And when we say a multinational joint task force, we mean military from Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger, Chad. That's the Lake Chad region countries coming together to fight the insurgents. Now that the Cameroonian military are, going back, the Nigerian armed forces can also come back, and protect these people to build resilience. Just days after this happened, the Boko Haram insurgents were seen in a video released by them claiming that they were the ones that overran some of the military points in Kirawa. And that is why the governor is now out calling for more support by the federal government to see that these border communities are being, he stand for, because he said that if the border communities stand, the insurgents cannot infiltrate the villages because the villages are standing on the border communities, which Nigerian armed forces cannot go to Cameroon to fight. That is what the governor is saying. And now the federal government is responding, and people are beginning to have a sigh of relief. According to them, this would intensify military operations there, and people that are being resettled in the communities will continue to have their lives back. IK.
All right, Jesse Tafida. Hopefully, of course, this works well this time, and of course, letting the people have their lives back. Thank you very kindly for talking to us and giving us updates vis-a-vis that, Jesse Tafida. All right, still on security matters now, the Delta State Police Command has recorded operational successes across Asaba and its environs following coordinated intelligence-led deployments by operatives of B Division Asaba, the Rapid Response Squad and the Eagle Net Special Squad. The surveillance team led by the DPO, CSP Edewo Akpone Ware, responded to a distress report around the Bosnak axis of Asaba, where a female victim was robbed at gunpoint by two suspects. Working with local vigilantes, the team established a discreet cordon and began a methodical sweep of adjoining streets and intercepted one suspect, Amara Nwako, a male, while his accomplice fled into an uncompleted building. A locally made pistol was recovered during a search of the immediate vicinity. In a separate operation, a team of Eagle Net Special Squad, Asaba, led by Commander SP Danyaya Yunusa, working in synergy with the Office of the Executive Assistant to the Delta State Governor on illicit drugs and human trafficking, intercepted a truck driven by one 52-year-old Dennis Uruma of a Galamela local government area in Kogi State. Also, operatives of the Rapid Response Squad, led by the Commander CSP Nosa Alex, acting on credible intelligence, arrested 3 suspects during raid on a suspected criminal hideout around the Basket Market area of Asaba. The Delta State Commissioner of Police, CP Olufemi Abaniwanda, has restated zero tolerance for crime, assuring that the command will continue to work with relevant agencies and community partners to dismantle criminal networks, recover weapons, and interrupt drug supply lines. Another Department of State Services has released 2 reporters of J101.9 FM Jos Plateau State wrongfully arrested during the visit of President Bola Tinubu, who was in the state for the burial of the mother of All Progressives Congress National Chairman, Professor Nantawe Yewada Goshwe. According to a credible security source, on hearing that some of the zealous operatives had arrested Ms. Ruth Marcos and Kasia Jang, who work for the radio station, The Director General, Mr. Oluwatosin Ajayi, ordered their immediate release. The source said that the service also immediately contacted the national president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ Al-Hassan Yahya, and conveyed the DG's apologies. The director assured the NUJ president that the new DSS leadership treasures the importance of free press in a democracy and has ordered a thorough investigation into the matter. He further assured the NUJ president that any officer found culpable would be appropriately sanctioned. The source further stated that the new DG is correcting the wrongs he inherited, one of them being overzealousness, and this is why the new DG has not failed to admit so whenever the service makes mistakes. Let's turn our attention now to the fight against illicit drugs. In a series of intelligence-led operations across Lagos, NDLEA operatives have dismantled two major drug cartels responsible for multiple cocaine shipments disguised in everyday items like body cream, stainless cups, and hair gel. 5 suspects, including the syndicate leader, Hamid Taufik Ode, were arrested. The first burst on the 16th of September at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport uncovered 174 parcels of cocaine weighing 13.4 kilograms. Further investigation led to one Hamid Ode, a self-proclaimed businessman and returnee from the UK. Another syndicate was uncovered in September with 3 UK-bound cocaine shipments traced to a furniture maker, Smith David Korede. Other seizures across states include 6.3 kilograms of loud from Thailand, over 290,000 pills in Kano, and nearly 250 kilograms in Edo. Of course, in Lagos State, multiple suspects were arrested in Lekki, Mushi, and Alaba with large quantities of codeine, cannabis, and expired drugs. In the health sector, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Partey, was received by a large crowd of supporters and residents of Bauchi State during an inspection visit to the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi. The minister said the Bola Tinubu administration's renewed hope agenda is driving a major transformation of Nigeria's health infrastructure with visible progress across the country. Professor Partey expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of work at the ongoing construction of a world-class radio diagnostic center. The facility being developed by MedServe and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Health is already about 70% complete, with all major equipment procured and ready for installation. Professor Partey noted that the Bauchi Radio Diagnostic Center is one of the 10 such projects being executed nationwide under this partnership aimed at improving access to modern medical diagnostics. The minister also inspected the construction of a new clinical trial center with the same teaching hospital, developed in collaboration with the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation.
Very much in line with Mr. President's renewed hope agenda for our country and particularly for health infrastructure transformation. This building was started just a few months ago, and we have now seen that it's almost getting to 70% being completed, and the equipment have been procured. We've seen the work; it's very good quality work. I'm sure when it's completed, not only the people of Bauchi State, but the people of northeastern Nigeria and indeed Nigeria will benefit from this world-class radio diagnostic center. The clinical trials center at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Hospital is being constructed in collaboration with the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation. It's something that the hospital's leadership and the partners came together to develop the capacity so that we can be involved in clinical research as well, so that we can generate new knowledge, bring new solutions to help address the diseases that afflict our people. So it not only will serve the people of this area, but it also has relevance beyond just one state to the entire country and West Africa and Africa overall.
Still ahead on TVC News at 10. In our special 65th Independence Report, we bring you the story of a woman whose journey from the kitchen to the corridors of power is breaking barriers. Stay with us for details of this and other stories. You're watching TVC News at 10. Here's a reminder of the top stories. Federal government deploys security personnel to establish a new military base in Kirawa, a border town in Goza local government area of Borno State. Department of State Services apologizes, releases 2 journalists wrongfully arrested in Plateau State. And US President Donald Trump expresses confidence that hostages held in Gaza would be freed very soon as peace talks begin in Egypt. In our Sunday special, we take a look at the Bomoku community in Ogun State, where police, the military cannot enter with their uniform. And still staying in the health sector, the state government has presented checks worth about 38 million naira to about 39 residents of the state to support their medical treatment. The Commissioner for Health, Banji Ajaka, who made the presentation in Akura, said that the beneficiaries were selected after screening by the Medical Assistance Board. Senior reporter Ayo Dijimoradeo tells us more about it.
The beneficiaries of the medical assistance were carefully selected by the Ondo state government to address their various health challenges. Some of the beneficiaries require kidney transplants and other costly medical procedures. Out of 54 applicants, 39 were approved for the intervention. While presenting the checks, the State Commissioner for Health, Banji Ajaka, urged residents to enroll in the State Contributory Health Insurance Scheme.
They will look at your.
Mr. Ajaka said the intervention was designed to support people suffering from various ailments who could not afford their medical bills, urging the beneficiaries to use the funds judiciously.
Yes, we are doing this assistance courtesy of Mr. Governor that look, there are people that may have this or that and will not be able to pay their bills. So it's just using this one to assist, some people, not everybody, will look at what they are bringing and what the state can afford, because the money is not open-ended.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Deniran Ikwomola, called for stronger collaboration between residents and the government through the Contributory Health Scheme to ensure sustained access to quality health care.
Consistently, he has been assisting people that are in need, of medical assistance since he's becoming governor of Ondo State.
And this thing they gave us, it will go a long way concerning our medical issue. I so much appreciate the efforts of our able governor.
The initiative by the state government has been described as a commendable effort aimed at assisting more individuals facing serious health challenges. Ayodeji Moradeyo, TVC News, Akure.
We'll take a short break at the moment, and when we return, we'll have more for you. But in the meantime, we are signing you out of our entertainment channel, but you can continue to watch us on our other channels by scanning the barcode on your screen if you find it. We're now to our Independence Anniversary Special Report. Mental health issues affect millions of Nigerians, yet stigma and limited access to care prevent many from seeking help. From the Colonial Lunacy Act to the Mental Health Act, Nigeria's mental health care system is now starting to evolve, but there is still a lot of ground to be covered in addressing the shortage of professionals and facilities. TVC News senior reporter Kazimu Lowe tells us more.
Mental health refers to emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how an individual thinks, feel, and behave. Good mental health enables person to cope with stress, build strong relationships, and make informed decisions. Mental health issues can arise from a complex interplay of factors, including biological factors, life experiences, environmental factors, social and cultural expectations. There are many types of mental health issues such as mood disorders, anxiety disorders, psychotic disorders, personality disorders, trauma-related disorders, and eating disorders. Nigeria is grappling with a mental health crisis, with millions of people affected by various mental health conditions. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 Nigerians may develop mental health issues in their lifetime, with approximately 50 million Nigerians suffering from mental health issues. Despite the prevalence of mental health issues, Nigeria's mental health care system is yet to live up to expectations. This was as a result of the use of Lunacy Act of 1958 for more than 6 decades. Nigeria's shift from the Lunacy Act to the Mental Health Act marks a significant milestone in the country's mental health care journey. The Mental Health Act, which came into existence in 2023, provides a more comprehensive framework for mental health care, emphasizing patients' rights, dignity, and access to care. Experts describe the new law as a welcome development, but they lament poor funding and other challenges.
We won't say we are there yet, but we are on the way because it's a shift from what it used to be. Under the new law, there are a lot of things. People with mental, a lot of misconceptions have been set aside. There is no health without mental health, because no matter how rich you are, no matter how beautiful you are, if there are mental health issues, one will not be able to function well. The government is not really funding. In fact, the budget, for mental health, for health itself is small, but a small unit is just the one that are allocated to mental health itself.
Many of us doesn't see it as a mental health situation. For 2 good weeks, we find it difficult. We have a lot of Nigerians that could not sleep, but they don't know that these are signs of mental health situations. And even if they know, they wouldn't want. It's just like a general illness condition that anybody can come across. Nobody wishes it comes, but we are all vulnerable in some ways or the other. Because the more the individual shields himself from going to seek for treatment, he's also creating problems for his family members. And before you know it, the ripple effect of it is it dovetails to affect all of us as a nation.
They say the country has less than 500 psychiatrists, serving a population of more than 200 million people, with about 50 mental health facilities available across the country.
Of access, let's take a look at the statistics of how many mental health hospitals, specialist centers we have. We have basically now, before I know, we used to have about 8 of them, but I think there are new creations that has come in. But I don't think we are up to 15 within the nation of Nigeria. So that is still a challenge.
We are still far behind what is prescribed by the World Health Organization. In terms of healthcare generally, talk less of mental health. There are a lot of factors that makes mental health to be a layback, which is one of the things in terms of stigma. Our culture actually encourages stigma.
Experts say many Nigerians view mental health issues as a spiritual problem rather than a medical one. They often turn to traditional healers who may delay proper diagnosis and reinforce harmful myths.
Talk about the religious component. We know that we Nigerians, we are religious people. We believe more in God. And these beliefs in God also have its own limitations, because we tend to pray a lot instead of taking steps to seek for help where we need to seek.
We have a culture, and over time, people have realized that this mental health thing is a scientific problem, and you can prove it, either with psychology, with social interaction, with our psychological problems, social problems, economic problems, that could lead to mental health. And these things are treatable.
They say to address the mental health crisis, Nigeria needs a collective effort from individuals, communities, organizations, and government. They must work together to increase funding by allocating more resources to mental health care and integrate mental health services into primary health care centers. promote awareness by educating the public about mental health and reduce stigma, train mental health professionals by increasing the number of professionals and provide training programs to equip them with necessary skills. By working together, Nigeria can break the silence surrounding mental health and create a more supportive environment for those affected by mental health conditions. In order to increase access to treatment across the country, mental health professionals want stakeholders to support in agitation for treatment at all primary care centers across the country. They say this will make mental health care closer to the people at the grassroots, and they also want people to support to kick against stigmatization in the country. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Abeokuta.
Away from that now, as Nigeria marks 65 years of independence, we turn the spotlight on women who are quietly and boldly reshaping leadership across the country. TVC News correspondent Bimbola Agbebi brings us the story of a woman whose journey from the kitchen to the corridors of power is breaking barriers. The report now.
For decades, this was seen as a woman's place. The kitchen, a space of quiet strength, service, and tradition. But in today's Nigeria, women are not just cooking meals, they are shaping policies and building futures. Now, from this very kitchen to the halls of political power, Honorable Omolara Olumegbon has walked that journey. She presently chairs the House Committee on Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation at the Lagos State House of Assembly.
Making pap and moi moi for us.
Stylishly showing off her cooking skills, Omolara Olumegbon smiles as she prepares breakfast, but her message is serious. Women, she says, must be seen and respected far beyond the kitchen or the role of homemaker.
The world has evolved a lot. I'm not going to ask you that because I'm a woman to just go out on the ballot box to vote for me. If there's a better person to do the job, please go ahead and do it. But so long as you know I deserve it and I've worked for it, irrespective of my age, yes, and I have what it takes, I believe I need to be there. Because at the end of the day, it's what I'm bringing on board.
Born into royalty and married to a traditional ruler, Omolara Olumegbon's early life was rooted in culture and convention. Politics wasn't in the picture until she found strength in unexpected places and unwavering support from the man she loved. Before his passing, Omolara's late husband was her greatest supporter, a royal father and traditional man who believed deeply in his wife's right to lead.
Support and presence is something you can never, ever quantify. It's something we need as women, even as friends. So this was one person I knew that, it's just the support system that's kept me going. It wasn't easy, do not get me wrong. It wasn't easy, even still being a woman, being a married woman, taking care of the family, it wasn't easy. But I had a very good, extremely good. When you say I had it at 100%, that was it.
Now a sitting lawmaker in the Lagos State House of Assembly, Omolara is one of just 4 women in the chamber. She represents our constituents with purpose, shaping policies, solving problems, and inspiring others along the way.
One thing about me is I'm very intentional about my people. I listen to their needs and wants. You need to be very intentional about your service to the people. So I've been able to keep to my campaign promises. I'm a lawmaker, so I have certain limits of things I can do, but with the help of different sponsors, I've been able to achieve so much more. So for example, the food bank that I do, it's not within my capacity to be able to run a proper food bank. And we have another one for the back to school that I'm doing in my constituency. I started it immediately I got into office,
Her story is part of a broader narrative of Nigeria's long and hard-fought journey toward gender inclusion in leadership From trailblazers like Funmilayo Ransome Kuti and Margaret Ekpo to global icons like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and Amina Mohammed, Nigerian women have been pushing boundaries for decades. Today, more women are walking that same path and reaching back to bring others with them. Looking back at her own journey and the lives she's touched, Mrs. Olumegbo became emotional as she offered a message to young girls and women still held back by tradition and societal expectations.
Your dreams are very valid. Your dreams are so valid. Do not at any point in time let people talk down on your dreams, and do not share your dreams with people that are small-minded. Share your dreams with people that are big-minded, see prospects in you and believe in you. I'm standing here as a product of God's grace and because I have amazing support. So to every Nigerian girl that actually has this dream to achieve this and achieve a lot more, it's me telling you deeply and emotionally letting you know that I feel what you feel, I understand everything you're going through, and you can achieve more than I have achieved. And believe in your dreams. Your dreams are so freaking valid.
From kitchens to committee rooms, Nigerian women are no longer waiting to be given space. They are taking it. And women like Mrs. Omolara Olumegbo remind us, leadership is not about gender, it's about courage, capacity, and a commitment to change. Abimbola Agbibi, TVC News, Lagos.
Indeed, quite a number of women blazing the trail, of course, across the world. And of course, one of the names that perhaps Bimbo would have added is Funke Okpeke, who is also a leader in the tech industry. Well, away from that, now let's turn our attention to election matters. Ahead of the 2027 elections, a new direction for Nigeria movement has called for major electoral reforms and greater civic participation. At a press briefing in Abuja, convener Mark Adebayo raised alarm over rising security challenges and institutional failures, referencing the recent killing of a journalist in FCT as a bad signal. Mr. Adebayo blamed flawed elections marked by vote buying, suppression and compromised officials for Nigeria's poor governance. The group also rejected any attempts to appoint a biased INEC chairman, demanding the adoption of justice-wise electoral reform recommendations to ensure INEC's independence and transparency.
All of Nigerians to reject and resist the appointment of any misfit procured to manipulate the next series of elections to suit the purpose of a political party and their candidates. Therefore, we come out forcefully against any attempt to impose any person of questionable character as the next chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. We are tired of an INEC that undermines our elections. Nigerians are fed up with an electoral management body that suffocates the democratic space by denying Nigerians the right to association, fire, registering of political parties without giving spurious excuses for disqualifying applicants. Of the Nigerian people coming together to find solution to the erratic and corrupted leadership recruitment system of Nigeria, fire compromised electoral processes that always deny the most popular and capable candidates who are genuinely determined to fix Nigeria, and put her among the functional and advancing committee of nations from winning. Electoral Yahoo boys have perfected the art of systematic defrauding of Nigerians through vote buying, election violence that creates massive voter apathy, brazen electoral robberies, outright compromises of election umpires, and even the expertise in corrupting election technology.
And a governorship aspirant under the platform of All Progressives Congress in Ado-Ekiti, in Ekiti State, I beg your pardon, Kayode Ojo, has alleged that the state government is suppressing diverse opinions while also using force to intimidate his supporters. Speaking to journalists in Ado-Ekiti, Kayode accused the state government of using law enforcement agents and some members of the judiciary to intimidate his supporters. Mr. Ojo also alleged that the state government is working with members of the State Executive Council of the APC to they have engineered the removal of over 2,000 bona fide members of the party from the APC register. This, he claimed, is one of the numerous plans to stop his loyalists from voting for him at the APC primary in the state, which is scheduled for the 27th of October. Mr. Ojo, who was represented by his consultative team lead, Olukayode Oluyemo, made this claim while reacting to the alleged escalating wave of violence, intimidation, and politically motivated persecution being unleashed on his supporters by supporters of Governor Oyebanji. He urged the state government to release all unlawfully detained individuals and also demanded independent investigation into the arrests. And as a reaction to the special advisor to Governor Oyebanji on information, Taiwo Olatoboso, who reacted on the phone, said those accusing the governor cannot be taken seriously as they have no evidence.
Expresses deep concern over the continued orchestrated arrest, prosecution, and detention of our supporters. We strongly condemn the sustained attacks on our members, campaign agents, and property, which appear to be coordinated by agents of government in connivance with elements within the security agencies and sections of the judiciary.
What they want to achieve is to break the spirit of the Kayode supporter. We are unshaken. We are going to forge ahead. We want to take away power from Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji. We don't expect it to be easy. Power is not served à la carte. We know we are going to take power from Biodun Abayomi Oyebanji.
The governor contested it in 2022, and the Ekiti people, by their free will, are saying that it should continue to 2030. And nobody, no blackmail, no form of allegation, no form of frivolity, no lies can stop it. Because people have made their decision, and the voice of their people is the voice of God.
And in foreign news, President Donald Trump says that he thinks the hostages held in Gaza will start to be freed very soon, as mediators are set to meet in Egypt tomorrow for indirect peace talks between Hamas and Israel. The talks come after Hamas agreed to some parts of 20-point U.S. peace plan, including releasing hostages and handing over Gaza governance to Palestinian technocrats. But they are seeking negotiations on other issues. The group's response did not mention the key demands of its disarmament and playing no future role in Gaza governance. President Trump told reporters that there is no need for flexibility because everybody has agreed to it, but there will be some changes much later. Meanwhile, Israeli airstrikes continued in Gaza, despite Mr. Trump telling Israel to immediately stop their bombing on Friday after Hamas responded to the proposed plan. Let's talk some sports now. The Lagos State government has held the E1 Lagos Grand Prix finals at the Victoria Island area, with Team Brazil emerging victorious. The team received the trophy after dominating the water race, making history in the host city of Lagos. Senior correspondent Adedoja Salamodeni witnessed it and tells us more.
This is a competitive sporting event that requires skill, strategy, and a lot of adrenaline. The E1 Lagos Grand Prix features teams competing in high-performance electric boats, with international participants and spectators attending the event. The championship features 9 teams owned by high-profile talents like Didier Drogba, Tom Brady, Mark Anthony, Will Smith, and Rafael Nadal, among others, competing with state-of-the-art all-electric power boats skimming above the water at high racing speeds. And in the end, Team Brazil made history as the winner of the first ever E1 Grand Prix on the continent of Africa.
That was fantastic. And
Championship point.
It was a great battle. But yeah, hats off to Steve Curtis. Although the team has done fantastic.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu described the first of its kind event in Africa as a demonstration of innovation and progress, showcasing Lagos' creativity, resilience, and commitment to clean energy and sustainable solutions.
It's really to use sports as a global connectivity. A global sport like the E1 GP series opens up our country, be able to tell a better story of who we are globally. And because it's an international sports competition that is the first time it's coming to Africa, it helps both our international market, our international audience to see that indeed Nigeria is ready, for commerce, for trade, for businesses. And I cannot thank Mr. President enough because our #1 greatest fan. It's not just for us to look at it as a race, right, but to use this as a platform where we'll be able to show our tourism, show our innovation, our creativity, and show the people that we are ready also to compete globally.
The E1 Lagos GP might have ended, but left behind memories of Lagos having the guts to host the first ever E1 World Championship on African waters, attracting local and most especially international investors, showcasing its tourism and marine economy with innovation and technology, putting the state on the world map as a destination for international sporting events. This, no doubt, one of the bold moves of Lagos State. Adedoja, Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
And more sports stories now. Erling Haaland continued his prolific form as Manchester City battled to a narrow victory over Brentford and gave boss Pep Guardiola his 250th Premier League win. Guardiola is the quickest manager to reach the milestone, having done so in just 349 games. That's about 55 games quicker than anyone else. Haaland out-muscled Sepp van den Berg to gather Josko Vardiol's looping cross, then wriggled away from the defender before precisely slotting past Kelleher. In other results, Aston Villa beat Burnley 2-1, Crystal Palace lost 2-1 to Everton, Newcastle United beat struggling Nottingham Forest 2-0, while Wolves played 1-1 with Brighton. And now to our special story tonight. Have you heard of a community in Nigeria where police, the military, and white men cannot enter due to their age-long tradition? TVC News senior reporter Kazim Olowo takes us on a journey to Igbomoku, where wearing of security personnel uniforms is a taboo.
The uniforms of the Nigeria Police and Armed Forces are indeed symbols of authority, discipline and prestige. They represent the institution's values and traditions, and those who wear them are expected to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and integrity. The uniforms also serve as a visual representation of the institution's presence and authority, commanding respect from the public. In Nigeria, the police and armed forces play critical roles in maintaining law and order, protecting citizens, and defending the country's sovereignty. Despite the prestige and authority attached to the uniforms, there is a community where wearing of the uniforms remains a taboo, as nobody dares appear in either police or any of the armed forces uniform in the community. The news of this community, called Igbomoku, located in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, took us on a journey to unravel the mystery behind the taboo. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, our journey took us to the eastern part of the state through Shagamu to Ijebu-Ode, to Ijagun and other communities along the Orepini Expressway before landing at Ijebu-Ife. Igbomoku, a small and peaceful community, holds the record as a community in Nigeria where no security personnel dares to enter wearing the uniform. Many residents are aware of the taboo but could not explain its origin, as it remains shrouded in mystery. Igbomoko is presided over by a community head popularly known as Baale in Yoruba land, but currently the community has no Baale in place. One of the elders in the community shared his insights about the situation that led to the prevention of people in police uniform from entering the community. He said the founding fathers of the community were into blacksmith business and later had an encounter with some white men who stayed with them in the community for some time before they had a disagreement, and the indigents laid a cost preventing them and their agents or security from returning to the community.
Baba ńlá wa àtijọ́ tó dá ìlú sílẹ̀, àwọn náà ń gbé ní ìlú, ìgbọ́n ìlú tó ń gbé inú ojúgbó ni.
This community was founded by our forefathers. It was a small village in the forest and they were living peacefully before they met some white men. Our forefathers welcomed them and took them to where they were doing their business in the village. They stayed together for a while before they had disagreements, and from then our forefathers laid a course preventing white men or any security personnel from coming into the community. So police, the military, or white men cannot come into this community.
We later met the secretary of the community, Mr. Jimo Yekini, who explained some things about the founder of the community. He said the community was founded by Ogumaga, who migrated from Ile-Ife, and that the cost laid on any person wearing uniform into the community was as a result of disagreement between their forefathers and the white men about issues of slavery, taxation, among others.
The founder is Ogumaga, and the story tells us he migrated from Ile-Ife in the company of his wife, Ogudo, to settle down here. And his major work is a blacksmith, Agbede. So that is his major occupation. And he has many slaves that work with him, according to the history that we are being told. And sooner or later, he has some other settlers who are with him, Shelubo, Adekogbe. So, because in this community, we have 3 major families. But what we had is that there was a covenant that is being invoked on the community because of certain things that happened, because of slavery master and other taxpayers at that time. So that banned policemen and army, including white men, from entering the community. That is how we met it.
He confirmed that they have churches and mosques in the community with presence of people from different tribes across the country, and all of them are aware of the taboo. He shared stories of those who had at a time violated the rule and what happened to them.
I'm a pastor, and we have a mosque here. We have many of them. They heard about it, but we are trusting God. But who will bear the cat? A son of this indigene of this community, who happened to be a policeman. When he come home at Ife, in Ishakodo or Iwadi, so he was told that his parents have come here because here their major work is farm. So people do gari, a lot of things. So his mother is here, and he didn't bother to off his uniform, and he came here. And immediately the parents saw him, they were annoyed. What is all this on? But after 3 days, he gave up the ghost. So, and that one keep more threatening to people and sightning warning. Even when you go to the police station, it is being written there at every station in Ijebu-Ife.
Despite the taboo, the community has strong relationship with the police and other security agencies. Mr. Yekini confirmed that they have strong internal security arrangements that prevent criminals from hibernating in the community.
Despite that it is a ban for policemen or army uniform to come into the community, that doesn't mean that we allow the criminals to dwell in our midst. No. But if we see new faces, we challenge them, we ask them, we know those who are coming for the first time or those who. So we don't allow people to come and hide themselves and perform any nonsense in the community. So we are very conscious, security conscious in the community.
One unique spot in Igbomoku town is the Ogun Shrine, where the founder of the community, Ugumaga, used as his blacksmith workshop. The shrine serves as a reminder of the community's rich history and cultural heritage.
This is Igbomoku Ogun Shrine. At this shrine, this is where they worship the god of iron in the community. But this place, according to the history of this community, is where the founder of this community used to perform his blacksmith business before the advent of the colonial masters. According to the history, they met at that time and they worked together for some time before they eventually parted ways. And of course, the late cause that military personnel, tax collectors, white people, and those working for them are not permitted into this community. And this place has been designated as Ogun Shrine, where people of this community come every year to perform sacrifice. And whenever they want to perform the sacrifice here, they use ram instead of dogs, as it used to be when performing sacrifice for the god of iron, Ogun, in Yoruba land.
A prominent son of Ijebu Ife and a former chairman of Ijebu's local government area, Wale Adedayo, shared his views about the taboo and the rich culture of the people. He highlighted the importance of respecting the community's traditions and customs.
I would say it has to do with the British invasion of Ijebu at that time in 1892. So I think they were looking at a way to safeguard their area, because the British came with their soldiers and so on, and they were killing everybody. What I learned from those who are older than me is that is a place that uniform people don't go into. Even if that person is a son or daughter of the soil, you're coming with your uniform, you better pull off your uniform before you go there. Because you don't pull it off, then that person is going to die. There's nothing to it at all. But talking about tradition and culture generally, not just as it relates to Igbomoku, you know, we've lost a lot of things as Yoruba people.
The Police Relations Officer in Ogun State, Omolola Odutola, confirmed that the command is aware of the community and the Ijebu Division has a strong internal security partnership with the community to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order in the area.
We've had instances where the divisional police officer would want to make an arrest there. So we have a synergy and a collaboration with the police and members of that community. It's not as if police officers cannot make an arrest. Police officers can make an arrest, but they cannot wear, their uniforms. So it's just a myth that people in that community has come to, respect. Of course, police officers respect their traditions, and in return, people in that community also work in synergy to flush out criminal elements.
Igbomoku's unique tradition serves as a reminder of the diversity and richness of Nigerian culture, where different communities have their own distinct customs and practices. A story of cultural heritage and community resilience, where institutions collaborate with community to honor and preserve their cultural